Bruce Lee was teaching when Dan Inosanto, his student, believed he could keep up and then. Bruce Lee was teaching when Dan Inosanto, his student, believed he could follow, and then the real lesson began. The dojo was silent except for the rhythmic sound of Bruce Lee's feet gliding across the mat. His movements were fluid, almost hypnotic, a dance of precision and explosiveness. Dan Inosanto watched, eyes half closed, trying to take in every detail. He had trained with Bruce before, but today something was different. The master seemed more intense, as if each blow carried a weight beyond the physical. Jeet Kune Do isn't about strength, Dan. It's about efficiency. You don't block an attack, you redirect it. You don't strike with your fist, you strike with intent. Bruce stopped suddenly, turning to face his student. Show me how you would apply this in real sparring. Dan took a deep breath. He had been training hard, perfecting his techniques, and now was the time to prove he was up to it. He nodded, assuming a defensive stance. Bruce didn't hesitate. In an almost imperceptible movement, he advanced, launching a quick side kick. Dan dodged, feeling the wind of the blow pass close to his face. He counterattacked with a direct punch, but Bruce was no longer there. His body spun, and Dan's elbow met only air. You're thinking too much, Bruce muttered, stepping back. Combat is not an equation. It's instinct. You need to feel the moment, not calculate it. Dan frowned. He knew that. But something prevented him from acting with the same fluidity as his master. Maybe it was the fear of making mistakes. Maybe it was the pressure of being in front of one of the greatest fighters in history. Or perhaps it was simply the subtle arrogance of believing that, after months of training, he had mastered enough. Let's go again, Dan said, determined. This time, he attacked first, a roundhouse kick followed by a sequence of punches. Bruce dodged it easily, but Dan didn't give up. He sped up, trying to corner his master against the ropes of the makeshift ring. For a brief moment, it seemed like it would work. Bruce backed away, his heels almost touching the wall. Dan smiled, feeling his confidence growing. Then, everything changed. Bruce didn't back down anymore. Instead, he leaned slightly to the left, dodging Dan's next punch with a roll of his shoulder. Before Dan could react, Bruce's foot connected with his stomach with surgical precision. The air escaped Dan's lungs in a single rush, and he staggered back, his knees almost giving out. You fell into the trap, Bruce said, without cruelty, but firmly. You saw the space and thought it was an opportunity. But I let you believe that. Combat isn't about what you see, it's about what you don't see. Dan coughed, trying to catch his breath. The pain was real, but what bothered him most was the shame. He had underestimated Bruce. Not in the sense of thinking he could beat him, he knew that was impossible, but in the sense of believing that, on some level, he had already understood what the master was trying to teach. I thought I was following along, Dan admitted, straightening up with difficulty. Bruce crossed his arms, watching him with an expression that mixed understanding and defiance. You were. But keeping up is not enough. In Jeet Kune Do, there is no finish line. There is only the next step. And the next. And the next. He paused, letting the words echo. Today, you learned that confidence without humility is just arrogance in disguise. And arrogance, in the ring, is the first thing that brings you down. Dan hung his head, feeling the weight of the lesson. It wasn't just about technique. It was about mindset. About recognizing that no matter how hard he trained, there was always something more to learn. There would always be a deeper level of understanding. Bruce reached out his hand, helping him up. Let's go again. But this time, don't try to keep up with me. Try to surprise me. Dan took a deep breath and nodded. This time, there would be no rush. There would be no guesswork. He would fight with an open mind, ready to fail, ready to learn. And for the first time, he felt like he was really starting to understand.